All right, welcome back, everybody. Time now for Better Pets.
Today, we're talking about our pets and the cold.
Dr. Andrea Dennis is here from the Bloomfield Animal Hospital to share a little winter wisdom with us. It's stupid me, and I'm the biggest pet lover. I think, oh, they have fur, they're fine.
Right, and that all fur is not alike.
So that's the first thing we really need to know.
Yes.
And all animals aren't alike. You say we need to kind of evaluate their cold tolerance. Like, you can sit out in the cold a lot longer than me. I'm cold in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're freezing.
Right, as can I. I always wear a short sleeve here. I'm never cold. And the same thing with some dogs and cats as well. And it does depend on that hair coat. Some dogs and cats have a specific undercoat, very thick. So an Alaskan Malamute is going to do much better than a poodle that has a shorter cut. And the other thing you want to take into mind in terms of their cold tolerance is absolutely how much are they thin. You know, a little extra couple of pounds doesn't hurt some dogs, as well as how ill are they. You know, the elderly, even elderly cats, they tend not to handle the cold as well. And people tend to make a mistake with cats, and then they tend to put them on the like an electric blanket, like an electric heating pad. And if a cat is not feeling well, they won't get up and move. And I see a lot of burns on elderly cats and dogs that people have put on a heating pad, and they don't get up and move because it's too hot. So when you're evaluating, you also have to be careful.
Yeah.
Okay. So
my cats always sleep on the radiators, but I guess that's their choice. They
can and they hop up on there. Whereas if you put an ill animal on a heating pad,
they can't move.
Oh yeah, and it's pretty horrendous.
What about my hairless Sphinx?
They don't go outside.
Do I get that hairless Sphinx a sweater? I mean, I always thought they were fashion accessories, but they actually are used for keeping pets warm?
They are, and I think we have a graphic on for our dog. I had a patient come in yesterday. Her name was Cookie. And Cookie is going to be 15 this year.
God bless Cookie.
Cookie.
Look how happy she is, and she's got a cute little sweater.
Well, she has a sweater, but not only that, and she has some medical conditions that she's doing very well with, but they're serious. And she also had a coat as well. So in addition to the sweater, now when we examined her, we took her sweater off, but she even started to shake a little bit. You could see that she was a little uncomfortable, feeling the cold a little bit, so we put the sweater back on. And then before she went out with her owners to the car, she had a nice sort of really dry water repellent jacket, and that's really a fabulous thing to do. So you have to layer your pets as well. The other thing to consider, like even with a pet like Cookie, the shorter animals are closer to the ground. So you have that cold radiating up against their belly.
Do they like wearing the sweaters? Do they know that it's good for them?
I have never really seen a pet, a couple of cats maybe, but I've never seen a dog fight a sweater or a coat.
Really?
I think you do it very slowly. I mean, we have a picture of some booties too. The booties are a different story, but the sweaters, they tend to tolerate that very, very well.
Well, I know, and when we had a dog when I was younger, it would only wear Burberry. I was like, what is wrong with you?
These are hysterical. I have seen people walking their dogs around downtown Hartford with these booties on.
Yes.
They look adorable, but I mean, what are they?
Well, they come in all different types of fabric. Now, I don't know, I saw someone like at the Bushnell Park too, a dog, and he kept on picking his feet like they hurt.
like they look like horses in a show,
yes,
like a dressage.
A dressage show, exactly. But some dogs do tolerate them very, very well. So I thought, you know, maybe that's not worth it for that dog that was picking it up. But give it a try and save the receipt, because if for some reason they do not handle them well, but it is quite protected. And you know, some dogs have better pads than others.
Okay.
And again, age plays into it. I know some dogs that like even have a low thyroid level tend to have very cracked paws. So not only are the booties an option, but we also want to make sure we check the paws.
Okay.
Turn them upside down. Don't just look at the tops. You know, turn them upside down, look in between the toes. If they're cracked, we want to really try to protect them. And there's ways we can do that.
And then we have paw protection wax instead of the booty.
Right. So you could use Vaseline. This is one of my favorites. It's called the Musher's Secret. And you work that into the paw before they go out. You don't want to do it when they come home, because sometimes it gets a little greasy on your wood floor. But those are excellent. That's an excellent problem. And there's others that you can find, you know, online as well. But that works in really very nicely into their paws. And again, it's quite protective for them.
Musher's Secret. You gotta love that name.
Yes.
It's like call me Susie Chapstick for dogs.
What about for our outdoor cats? Should we be putting mushers or things? I mean, they're not tolerating booties.
Well, no,
right?
they're not going to do that.
They're not
going
gonna
to do
put
that.
boots on them.
No, but even indoor cats, look at their paws because of the heat and the dry heat, and the air just has no humidity. And work a little bit of Vaseline into the paws. That's really quite helpful, especially as they get older. Ill animals and elderly animals really take a toll.
She's got me sleeping with a humidifier because otherwise I get yelled at. So
Well, you get
We
bloody
get dry
noses every
skin.
day.
so the humidity, the cold air comes out.
Oh,
it's a
that.
cold air, and the cat chases. It's so funny.
So
He's
we're
like
getting-
trying to swat the cold air steam. I'm
Well, the
like,
other
this is
thing
not
with-
a toy.
Well, one other thing too, if they have a lot of hair, you know, because we haven't had much snow, but it's coming, right, Scott?
Not this week.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but when they go outside, they get those little ice bubbles, those little
Yes.
ice crystals inside the fur. So if you can clip that fur down, because some dogs will stop walking if that hurts them in their feet. It's like, you know,
Seriously.
you're walking on little pebbles.
Oh,
On the
yeah, that
bottom
would
of the-
hurt.
yeah.
And we know not to leave our pets in a hot car, or we should.
Yes.
But cold cars are also dangerous.
Extremely dangerous, and people think, okay, well, I'll park in the sun, but we know, especially on a day like last night or a day like today, you know, you leave, you go into the store, and when you get back in the car, it's really cold again. It's extremely cold. So just think twice, and you would think, well, boy, that's common sense. Why do we even have to discuss that? But it does. I do see problems, and I do see hypothermia, and people feel, well, even with the sweater on, they should be fine. But you don't leave them in the car.
Never.
No,
Never.
I wouldn't even bring them.
Exactly. I know so many people. Right.
Going to do errands. That's just not the right thing to do with them.
All right. And you suggest a veterinary wellness exam as well?
I do. And it's not promoting what I do.
Right, no.
But there is a reason why we examine them at least every year, and especially this time of year if they're starting to get older. I had someone yesterday stop into they were looking for directions, and they were just mentioning their cat losing weight, and they're going to travel to North Carolina. And he showed me a picture of the cat, and I basically think the cat has hyperthyroidism, and he's kind of brushed me off, and I said, but you don't want to travel if your cat is this sick.
Right.
And it is, because it's losing weight but eating a lot, and that's not a good sign. So always your veterinarian knows, and then you talk about it. You don't necessarily have to do everything the veterinarian recommends if you can't afford it, but let's have some suggestions.
Just before we run out of time, you have an update on the grain-free diet. A lot of people have been thinking I should give my pets grain-free.
Yes, and the grain-free option right now, I don't feel comfortable with it. Now, there's still more research being done. What we're seeing is that in some of these grain-free diets, there are certain dogs that we normally don't see this condition getting something called cardiomyopathy, which is heart disease. What we don't know is it the lack of grains, or is it what we're using in place of the grains?
Okay.
But it is. I will stay on top of it as we learn more. But my recommendation to my clients is, can we stay away from grain-free right now till we know more?
Okay.
Thanks, Dr. Andrea
You're
Dennis.
welcome.
As a reminder, Dr. Dennis is the owner of the Bloomfield Animal Hospital on Old Windsor Road in Bloomfield. Her website is bloomfieldanimalhospitalct.com.
And on alternating Saturday afternoons from 2 to 3, she's taking listener questions during Pet Talk on WTIC 1080, so tune in for that if you can.
All right, on the other side of the break, a star of the show, New Girl, teams up with the star of Planet of the Apes in a brand new show.
They're telling us all about that in 2.